Meanwhile, another country is cracking down on illegal immigration. One America's Pearson has our report.
President Trump is standing firm on his vow to end illegal immigration as protests against his stance continue to escalate.
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
But despite protesters in America claiming human rights violations, some overlooked migrants in Mexico are stuck in legal limbo. Since September, the number of Haitian migrants crowding into border cities like Tijuana is swelling. There are now some 3,500 Haitians living in cities like Tijuana and Mexicali, and the Mexican government is pushing hard to have them removed. But are they considered dreamers by the Mexican government, or are they allowed to retreat to sanctuary cities? The answer is no. In fact, shelters for the migrants are being forcibly closed, and that includes churches. The pastor of one church in Tijuana, who was taking care of the Haitians, is now telling them they're on their own. That's after Mexican officials cut off funding to the shelters in February, forcing migrants to rely entirely on donations. Other migrants say they're having the same problem. What Mexican migration has told me is that I have to wait for them to give me my papers. But everyone tells me they deny this to most people. Just imagine, you spend all your money on transportation and medicine, and at the last minute, they come up with nothing. In fact, the concept of sanctuary cities is outlawed in Mexico, and police must enforce immigration laws at all times. It seems ironic that Mexico is protesting a border wall with the U.S. while simultaneously fighting hard to keep migrants out of its own country.
We asked for refuge here in Mexico, but we were rejected. So now we're going to walk to the border. The goal is to make it to the United States.
But at the same time, U.S. taxpayers are shelling out $383 billion to support immigrants every single year. Americans pay for welfare, social services, hospital bills, food stamps, free school lunches, free housing, health care, primary and secondary education. Billions more is spent on anchor babies, with $24 billion a year going to illegal aliens in California alone. And with illegals committing over 1 million sex crimes in the country each year, another $3 million is spent on supporting the alien criminals filling prisons in the United States.
The American people are not happy with these results. They know that when cities and states refuse to help enforce immigration laws, our nation is less safe. Failure to deport aliens who are convicted of criminal offenses puts whole communities at risk.
On the other side of the coin, Mexico's laws prohibit foreigners from receiving welfare, food stamps, or government housing entitlements. Article 34 says that any foreigners entering the country must have jobs and be able to prove they're not a drain on the Mexican economy. And if you sneak in, you're automatically a felon. But that's not all. There's also no help for those who need it most. If you're not physically or mentally healthy, you'll be denied entry. Yet America and the Trump administration are still getting a bad rap for so-called tough immigration laws. And facts don't seem to matter. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced the U.S. admits over 1.2 million immigrants each year, far more immigrants than Mexico allows. Many Americans say they're tired of lax immigration laws, especially when those laws allow criminals and gang members to pour through the border.
I've been advocating a wall for 10 years, and when he came along and said he was going to build a wall, I fell in love with him. Right now, I live in no man's land with Sinaloa cartel scouts really controlling our area.
During a tour of the southern border, Jeff Sessions announced plans to tackle such cartels, cracking down on what he calls the filth brought in by drug cartels like Sinaloa. And while many protest the laws and claim President Trump is unfairly targeting immigrants, Mexican officials say the deportation numbers are right on track for previous years. Around 60,000 people were deported to Baja California State each year in 2014, 2015, and 2016. And in the first months of 2017, the numbers remain consistent with Obama's practices. The hypocrisy continues as Mexico offers no secondary language services. If you immigrate, you have to speak Spanish, and no bilingual classes are taught in schools. And if you want to buy land and you're not born in Mexico, you're out of luck. Only Mexicans by birth have the right to acquire ownership of land. Even more controversially, while being born in the U.S. automatically makes you a citizen, that's not true in Mexico. Any foreigner can be deported at any time without any legal process, with Mexico offering zero tolerance for any migrants who seek to work inside the country. The situation is grim, and many in the mainstream media failed to report on the double standards of America's southern neighbor. But under President Trump, all that's about to change.
For those that continue to seek improper and illegal entry into this country, be forewarned. This is a new era. This is the Trump era. The lawlessness, the abdication of duty to enforce our laws, and the catch and release policies of the past are over.
Pearson Sharp, One America News.